Hi, everyone. It's Aiden here. Hope everybody's doing well. Looking to review the price action from today, Monday, December 8th, 2025. Okay, so we're on the 1 minute here. I have four indicators I want to go over very quickly. I have an order block detector from LuxAlgo. And the idea behind this indicator is that it detects selling action potentially above and buying action potentially below, which comes into play, especially when we're flushing up or we're flushing down. In other words, we're going through the levels. We might have resistance at a selling area. We might have support at a buying area. And this is what these order block detectors show on TradingView. I got a volume candle. I have a custom indicator here, which is a 5-minute 8 EMA, a 5-minute 21 EMA, and VWAP. And the 5-minute 8 EMA is in teal or blue here, and the 21 EMA on the 5-minute is my dash gray. And then I have Phil's indicator with all the bells and whistles. Okay, we're on the 1 minute again. So just a discussion on price action today. Oh, by the way, I also have the ADX indicator on the bottom. We'll talk about that in a moment. Now, the first the first decent opportunity that would have come in this morning would have been at 9:47 a.m. if you had the foresight to see it. And this is what we call a break and retest, right at previous market low. So price action wicked up here and then rejected. And this is something that you would be interested in taking. Why? Because price action went down and it pulled back up. And like a spring, it went back down again. So if you could have caught the entry right here with a tight stop loss, again, that's a good optimized entry for a break and retest. And then you might say, well, where would you have taken it off? You would have taken it off right here at previous low of day. Another entry would have been right here at 954, which is at a support level of 685.89. Again, break and retest. You could have taken it here at the beginning of the bearish candle as it was forming. Stop loss right up here. And then TP, you could have taken it after three candles, or you could have let it develop below as well too. Probably take it off at a previous low of day again. This obviously wicked down, but I'm thinking this level right here. Okay, now, absent all of that, let's say if you missed those two and you're looking for the trend, where else could you have entered? Well, this would have been hard right here because this is already going down. You could have potentially taken entries at VWAP. That's a little risky. You could have also taken an entry at a bear flag break. Sometimes that works, especially if you're below VWAP. That would have worked in this particular instance. But one of the most ideal places to take entry here would have been right here at 1035. That's a retest of the 8 EMA. I believe I might have had an entry right here today. So if you had gotten in right here, you could have taken the wave all the way down here. So right down to the flush level, 684.02. What a great entry in retrospect. Absent that, where else could you have re-entered? Well, notice that these three levels are on top of each other. This is what I was calling the sandwich in the Discord today. And you typically, when you've got levels that are almost superimposed on top of each other, that could be tough. The best way usually to trade these is either below the level or above the level. And you typically want to be looking for either a breakout or better, a break and retest. We got the break and retest here at 1058. And that would have been an absolutely beautiful entry. So you could have taken it right here at the development of this bearish candle, stop loss again tight. And then where are you going to take it off? Right here at the previous wick. And if you had a runner, whoa, you could have let that run down. Absolutely beautiful. You could have taken another entry right here, right at that wick as well too. And that would have threatened it again, but that was right up at the 8. So this was potentially another. So if you're taking an entry here and another entry here, you could have taken them both off right here. And one thing I want to point out is what happened right here. So this was the confluence of a macro 5-day simple moving average, 683.8, I believe, the 5-minute 8 EMA, which was also hovered in that region, and then VWAP was encroaching upon them as well. Now, one thing you'll notice from here to here is the ADX just falls off. And this is what I was trying to say, is that when you have the absence of trend, or you have a squeeze, or you have a tight range, the ADX precipitously falls off. And this is something you typically don't want to be trading. Now, the only exception to that rule is that we had a break and retest again right at this level, flagged by the indicator. So if you saw this develop, you could have taken this right again, put your stop loss right about that previous wick, and then look for a TP right there. That would have worked. But again, I'm usually wary when VWAP encroaches on the 8. I'd like there to be divergence between these two indicators. Yeah. Okay. Now, another thing of interest here is let me just show the fractal that was developing. So we had a left shoulder, we had a head, and we had a right shoulder. And this right shoulder actually started to break right around here. Now, where could you have taken entry here? This is somewhat tough, but potentially maybe right here again at the 8 EMA. And by taking entry here, close to the EMA, look at that. You could have flushed it down to Phil's level right here at 682.40. Absolutely beautiful in retrospect. I mean, obviously easier seeing this in retrospect than trading it live, you know. Now, again, if you're looking for another entry, here's another one. Another entry right there. Another entry right here. These are all 8 EMA entries. Now, here we actually cross over. And you typically want to avoid taking entry here unless you get a retest back to the 8. Now, we never did, but we did get a retest almost to VWAP. So that's potentially an entry. But again, not the best. It would have been better to take it right here. And then where are you taking TP? Right at the level again. Moving on. Now, notice we're back at this level. And we're kind of going through this sinusoidal stuff again. And you notice that the ADX is precipitously dropping off. However, you get a signal right here, and do you notice that momentum is building in the ADX? And that would have been reflected by that candle right here. Let me just draw that right up. That candle right there, corresponding with the acceleration in the ADX right here. Now, as far as where you would take entry here, well, if you saw what the indicator flagged, that's potentially an entry. I prefer the 8 EMA right here, right under the 8 EMA, and then look at that. That flushed all the way down. The rest of the day then was, yeah, you were just in chop right here for the rest of the day. Let me continue over here. Yeah, so it's just chop from like 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. I mean, if you've been trading this, you would have been chopped up. There's no bandwidth in this to trade. And you know what's interesting as well is look at the ADX, and this is what I was trying to explain in the room. It's and what Lance mentioned in his post. It's just falling off the cliff. You just don't want to be trading this. You'll just get chopped up. Anyway, so those are some of the trades that I saw today. Hope this was helpful. If anybody has any questions, just drop me a line. But the one thing I would say for those of you who are kind of new to this, this is hard. This is really, really hard. And the best thing that you can do is say to yourself that, okay, if I'm going to be trading from 9:30 to 11:30 noon every day, then probably don't take any trades until maybe at least 9:50, 10 o'clock, because the range is developing at that point. You might have an order break or something like that. So and also the asymmetry or the distribution in price action has to, it has to develop itself somehow. And usually it tends to do that after the first 20 to 30 minutes. But just sit tight and wait for a break and retest at a level, or wait for a retest at the 8 EMA on a trend. And if you can wait for these type of A-type setups, if you want to scalp like I do, or if you're looking to go from level to level, only do the level to level stuff, guys, when it's displaced. Meaning when you have levels that are all on top of each other, you try to stay away from that. Wait until the sandwich, the bottom of the sandwich, break and retest down, or the top of the sandwich, break and retest up. And hopefully you've got runway all the way up ahead on top, or all the way down below on the bottom. And Phil has a filter, I think, in it. Yeah, he does in his indicator that you can turn on and turn off accordingly. But again, just use your intuition and try to trade trend. And if you can sit and just be patient and wait for those entries to come along, now you have fulcrum type entries. Now you have you're almost like at the mean of a normal distribution. From a physics perspective, this is optimization. This is why I call it calculus optimization. When you're maximizing or you're minimizing, let's say a bullpen, and you have so much amount of fence that you have to work with, and you're building a perimeter, but you want to maximize the area. It's the same type of concept, is that you want to maximize your entries, so you minimize your stop loss and you maximize your take profit. That's kind of the science behind it. And it is a work in progress, but if you're patient for your entries, you'll start to see stuff subtly happen. And maybe it'll take two trades, and you'll have two winners, and then you can be done. You don't have to stick around for the whole day and trade this. But anyways, those are my thoughts. If anybody has any questions, just let me know. I didn't. One thing just before I go, I didn't draw a lot of the fractals. The head and shoulders. I'm a big fan of those inverse head and shoulders, bearish head and shoulders. And one of the reasons why is if you have trend and you have like a bearish structure, and you have two microstructures that reflect that bearish structure, that are part of that macro structure, that's confluence as well too, along with the levels of the EMAs, and kind of some of the other things that I mentioned. Okay, talk to everybody soon. Take care, and bye bye.